Now, of all these goals, Susan, a raise, a job, a marriage proposal, inheritance, a new friend, which are the most complicated and why?
Well, the two that are the most complicated are either, and for the opposite reasons, marriage, because it presumably is going to last the longest. So somebody really wants to be sure as much as he can be sure. So you really have to push the right buttons. And the other one that's very, very tricky is the end of life, because that's shortest for the person who's writing the will. Presumably, you're not campaigning to be in the will until there's some reason if the person's in their 60s or 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. So you got to be really careful. If it's something that's going to last a long time or that the person wants to, like a marriage, nobody who's proposing is going to do it at the drop of a hat if they have half a brain in their head. And the same thing is true about the will, because the person who controls the purse springs in the will has a lot of power, and also usually has a lot of power when the person's still alive. So you've got to be seen as trustworthy, honest, decent, dependable, caring, loving, sane, all of that to get both of these results.
Boy, that's a big test to pass.
It is. It is.
Now, what if you push the right buttons and you only get some of the results that you need?
Keep pushing. But in a good way. So it's not like leaning on somebody's door bell. I don't mean that, right? Not like that. And it's not like when little kids are in the elevator and they get so excited, they push all the buttons on all the floors and then you're stuck going and stopping 15 times, right? No, I don't mean that. But I mean, you understand the concept of pushing the right buttons. You understand that you've got to figure out what that other person's needs are. When that person's listening to you, are they hearing how their needs are going to be met? Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. Call me, have a free session, I'll work through it with you. And if you really get this and really understand this, and you are who you say you are, if you are the person who does a great job, then you deserve a raise. If you are the person who is fabulous with that other person, then you should be married if that's what you both want. If you are the person who can be counted on and trusted for end-of-life decisions and care, you belong in the will. You should be the executrix or the executor. So keep pushing the buttons. Keep doing what works. Keep doing what works, and you'll get what you need.
I love that. Never give up, right? Now, I know it's really tempting to feel angry or disappointed or scared if you don't get exactly what you want. What do you do then?
Well, don't do the words that she just said. So if you think that being frightened gets you anywhere you want to go, we're here to tell you you've been confused. If you think that getting angry gets you any result that you're ever going to want, we're here to tell you, at least I'm here to tell you, no, 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 rethink this. And being sad is just a complete waste of time as well. You know, these are all emotions you should have gone through and processed out and be done with long ago if you've been watching me on Gigi's show for years. You know, we've been doing these shows together for like 10 years, and so there wasn't a benefit 10 years ago when you first watched the show. And there's no more benefit now. And every time you express your fear, your anger, and or your sadness to somebody else, I guarantee that whatever result you were going to get is now going to take longer. And I'm not saying you stuff it, because that doesn't work. I'm not saying you pretend everything's fine or put a piece of, duct tape on your mouth. That doesn't work either. You have to genuinely bring yourself to peace. Genuinely notice that the story you tell is a bogus story. There's nothing to be angry about. And if you feel that there's something that deserves anger, I hate to tell you who's the person who's at fault here and the person who needs to make changes. It's always me, it's never them. And that's just a hint for your own life, right? So that's the key and that's the secret.
Oh, that anger issue. So we have to get over our thinking, like Susan says, change the story.
Yeah, you bet.
Now, what's the number one error that people make in relationships when they are interested in common goals and they just can't get their partner to see that this is a common goal?
Well, yeah, when you're wanting, let's say, a new car or a vacation or any one of 1,000 things, right? So a new car and a new vacation, it could be a man, it could be a woman. Or if you're a woman and you want to, get a new piece of jewelry or an expensive something to wear. Or if you're a guy and you want to buy some sort of equipment, I'm using stereotypes here, because frankly, that's the way it, falls in most of the relationships I work with. Women are more interested in what they're going to wear or what they're going to put in their house or having a house, and men are more interested in, electrical equipment or things that they can drive, fly, etc., through the water, through the land, through the air. So you've got to figure out what's in it for the other person. What's in it for her if I get a new car, a new boat, a new airplane? What's in it for him if I invest in a very expensive designer gown, very expensive designer handbag? Well, the point is that, in fact, the rational, logical mind, the upper left, the blue quadrant, which is, you'll find more men like that than women, that logical, rational mind, which says, let me buy a car, well, the truth is that a car has more resale value than a dress. And the car has resale value, which gel nails don't. So you've got to think about this. You're doing things that aren't logical and practical and financially stable. You want to do them because it improves your quality of life. What does that mean? It means it makes you feel better, lower right brain. It is more in line with your self-expression, lower right brain. It makes you feel better about yourself, lower right brain. Maybe it's something that helps you with an entrepreneurial idea you have, upper right brain. But none of it is solid, logical, grounded, and practical until you're able to make a profit from whatever that idea is. So don't try to sell somebody on your great idea based on what you think of as fun and exciting. Always do it based on what that other person likes.
That was a lot of information. Thank you. That's a lot of common sense. How about a business investment? What is the key to pushing the right buttons for this?
Well, a business investment, you better know 10 times more about your business than the person you're asking to invest. And presumably the person you're asking to invest can't need the money, has extra money. Don't borrow money for a business opportunity from someone who needs to be paid back, because there is a high probability you will not be able to pay them back anytime soon. Not only do entrepreneurial ventures rarely make money at all, there are a lot of challenges with that. You've got to make sure you've got an incredible team surrounding you as well as a great concept. But a lot of people have messed up their family relationships irreparably and forever, and so think twice, 10 times about this. However, if you have a great idea and if you have a great investment, the solution I found in the past is find partners who have money too. So you each chip in, put a certain amount of money in, and everybody is happy to the degree they are. But that's about you making a deal that works for everybody.
Thank you, Susan. That makes sense. Logical. Now, how did you really figure out actually, before you do the motivating and the wording?
Well, let's say you have an invention. I'm just working with somebody now who's raising money for a group who have a fantastic invention, and I can't tell you anything about it because it's a secret invention, but it's a technical invention. So how do I work with him to teach him how to pitch the idea to other people and raise money for which he's going to get a commission. Well, it's very simple. I don't understand anything about this technical invention except who is potentially going to buy it. So you obviously are looking for money from people who are in that industry, people who are either already the people who are going to buy it, or people who are close enough to the end user that it makes sense. Or there's another angle, of course, which is you go to people who are the competition, you give them the opportunity to buy it. They may invest in it, but they probably wouldn't use the invention. They would just be buying it to block it from utilization in the marketplace, which is kind of an icky thing that I don't want to get involved in. That's not my way of living. But for him, it's very straightforward. He goes to all the people who are in fundraising and investment capital in that industry, and we've created a different pitch for each one of them, slightly different, so that he can reach out to each one of them in a specific way and see the ones who are interested and then proceed with them and not waste his time on the others.
Nice. Well, good luck with that. I'm sure you'll have success. Does it ever work to force someone to actually really push their buttons, to keep pushing them and pushing their buttons?
No, get another guy, get another person, get another partner, get another investor, get another boss, get another neighbor. What's the point? There's no shortage of people. No matter where you live, there's no shortage of people. If that person doesn't want to hire you, get another job. If that person doesn't want to date you, get another date. If that person doesn't, after some number of years, doesn't want to marry you and you can't figure out why, then it probably is that person, not you, so move on. If that person doesn't want to be your friend and you meet them at a party, hey, you could go to another party every night of the week. And so you don't have to, sulk by the phone. However, there's a dance here. So are you clear about what you're looking for? Are you crystal clear about what you're putting out? Do you have real determination? Do you have real commitment? And are you in the creative energy of looking for opportunities? Very important too. So it's really important that you have the ability to self-assess, because it's not just about figuring out what other people need. You have to have absolute clarity about what you need, because how else are you going to decide what you're going to go for? So don't keep pushing the same button over and over and over again. And I was just with a friend, and I briefly dated a guy that she dated for a much longer period of time. So let me just say this. I strongly advised her why this was not a plan for her. And she heard me, and she did it anyway. She's a free agent. Okay. Then I just heard that she did this 3 times. Now, I myself have done something dumb twice with a person that I adored. Twice, not 3 times. Twice. Bad enough, dumb enough, but twice. And I didn't have anybody who knew well enough to say, look, I've been in your shoes, it's not a good idea, don't do it. So I had to figure this stuff out for myself. But here's somebody who pushed the same button and pushed the same button and pushed the same button. And as I sadly had warned her, this was someone who was never going to be capable of giving her any of the things that she needed. And so she wasted a good deal of time and other resources as well.
So that's an example of really being conscientious. This is really going somewhere.
If you're clear and you have determination, you would never do that. You would never make the same mistake again and again.
It's the next. Well, there's plenty of next out there, opportunities.
That's right. Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, how about this? Finally, how important is it to feel and express gratitude after you have pushed the right buttons and have gotten wonderful results?
Well, first, you are the queen of gratitude. So why don't you say a little something about how important you think that is? Because I know everybody would love to hear it. And then I'll say something too.
Well, I just think that that's an honor for the other person to express appreciation for what they have done and how that has really touched you. I think that's contributing to their life energy force. It's a gift. And a lot of times we fail to really stop and really give it consideration. I know I've been in that position, and now I'm more conscientious of giving the gift of appreciation. So I'm very supportive that we all need that. It's huge. Try it. Okay.
And I'm so grateful to you, and I could never say it enough. I could never say it enough. She is such a doll. So apropos of gratitude, I gave a free session to somebody yesterday who had seen me on a video that I did with Howard Wills, who I am so grateful to as well. And she was asking me questions, and I answered, and you guys know I give a 1-hour free session. And she just kept saying to me, "You are an answer to my prayers." Oh, I like that, you know? That's like, isn't that like the ultimate gratitude? So, but I kept saying to her, you know, I'm giving you the information you need to have a session with Howard Wills. That's not the same thing as the session. You know, I'm so thrilled that you feel grateful. I really want to know that in addition to feeling grateful, I want to know when you have the session, you know? So to me, I wanted to make sure that it was great that she was expressing gratitude. I wanted to make sure that she was going to have the clarity and the focus and the determination to get the result. So it's all those needs, right? It's all those needs. But as I've gotten older as well, I now see the difference that appreciation and gratitude makes that I never really got before. Because I had a lot of people who said a lot of nice things to me that they didn't mean. I got a lot of that, and you did too, I'm sure, when you were growing up. You know, because, you know, what do really pretty women hear ad nauseum? We hear from people who don't have our best interests at heart, and then we also hear from a few who do. So as you get older, you know, you think to yourself, oh, I don't even want to pay attention to that. Who knows what's behind this, you know? But that doesn't mean that those of us who are sincere and heart-centered and really care can't express gratitude. And I know that Gigi and I are so grateful to all of you who watch her show every week. And it's a wonderful thing. So that's more gratitude, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, what a gift. Well, my goodness. So throughout your life, Susan, you've expressed how you don't know if somebody's really, what's the story behind what they're saying, and can you trust what they're saying? Is this a form of some type of manipulation? You know, you really wonder, is this another head game coming on?
Well, you know, I love something I learned from Dr. Fernando Flores many years ago when I was in a 3-year program with him. And he says that, you know, there are some people who are just jerks. They mean well, they give you a promise, they swear on, you know, a stack of Bibles, but they're not able to fulfill their promise. And then there are people who are malicious, who are perfectly capable of fulfilling a promise, and they have no intention of fulfilling it when they promise, and they don't fulfill it. So it's really important, and he actually divided it up into 4 different groups, not just 2, but for, you know, simplicity purpose. So the thing is, who does your friend or family member or boss or colleague or neighbor, what category does that person fall into? If you've been able to motivate them to do something, are they competent to do it? Are they able to do it or not? And if not, then you really need to be super careful and pretend they never promised anything. And if you're not sure if they're trustworthy and competent, then you also have to be really, really on your guard and really aware, and again, not count on anything. The only people you can count on are people like Gigi and me. We give our word, we show up.
Yes.
You know, like 99 and 9/10% of the time, and we've been friends for 11 years, When one of us says we're going to do something, we do that. And we do that when we said that. And we don't do some other thing that just came into our heads to drive the other person insane, right? So that's what you're looking for in any of these people who you want to push the right buttons for. You know, that's the only trick. Find the right people, then all of the skills that I'm teaching you are a pleasure. And here's another thing I just read in a wonderful book by Robert B. Parker, my current favorite author, writes mysteries. Don't plan based on what somebody will do. Plan based on what somebody can do. So that will protect you a great deal in difficult situations, even dangerous divorces, if you remember what I just said. That could really save your life.